the first baseman of the Blue Bay Sox. Exclusive interview. Brandon, thanks so much for taking some time with us.
Thanks for having me.
For those that don't know, Brandon's currently leading the Bay Sox. We're tied for the lead in batting average, doubles, home runs, RBIs, total bases, and slugging percentage. So Brandon, you're off to a real good start this season. What's your impression of how the season's gone so far for you, both as an individual and team-wise?
It's going real well. As a team, I think that we've had a couple games slip by that we could obviously change, and I think we're getting better at it. I think our bullpen is starting to come around a little bit, and I think offensively, I think we're kind of hitting around one another, and we're getting some runs from the bottom of the lineup as well as the top of the lineup, and things are shaping up. And personally, I feel like everything's going well so far. I feel like there's a lot of things I can work on, and from now, I just want to try to keep in the rhythm and hopefully get to play one of these days.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've had quite a bit of rain. It's raining right now. I'm not sure if we're going to get this one in or not. These two in. Well, I guess that's what I want you to talk more about. Over the last 2 years, you've really established yourself as one of the top position prospects for the Orioles. You had a shoulder injury, I think it was back in '06. Obviously, you're beyond that. But what do you think's made the most difference in kind of you establishing yourself and taking the next step at each level and improving your game?
I really feel like in '06, having the injury and playing through adversity, and in high school I never really struggled. I never really struggled in any of the summer teams or anything like that. And to come out and really have adversity and have to deal with that, it made me grow up as a person, it made me grow up as a player, and I feel like that really has helped me throughout the rest of my career. And it makes me kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes you walk out on the field and you kind of take for granted being out here and being able to do this for a living. And having 6 months off really kind of helps out.
Right. Oh, that's an interesting perspective. Now the Orioles moved you to first base. You were drafted as a catcher. I guess you played maybe some third base here and there. Is there much thought to kind of moving you off first base, maybe trying you again at third base, or is first base you think the position for you moving forward?
Really, right now, I'm just working on first base. Third base is something that I really do love. I love getting over there and playing there, and I grew up playing shortstop, so that side of the infield's a little bit more comfortable for me per se. But right now, knowing the situation with the Orioles and understanding where I belong, first base seems to be more of the overall consensus. And for me, I always say this, and I know it doesn't necessarily make the viewers very happy, but I like to play wherever I can be in the lineup.
Right.
It's kind of a stock answer, but it's very true. I want to wear an Orioles uniform. I want to be in the big leagues, and however I get there, it really doesn't matter to me as long as I can help the team win.
Right. Good. In previous years, you've always been kind of a second-half performer. You put up a lot better numbers in the second half. What do you think's been the key to getting off this hot start this year?
Well, one thing is that this offseason I got into the best shape I've ever been in. I actually lost about 20 pounds and really worked hard in making sure that I was going to be healthy, and that if I do have minor injuries that happen throughout the year, that I was able to carry myself through them. And the cold weather, obviously, that basically embarks on that, because you really can't go out there and play unless you're in the best shape.
Right.
So that's definitely helped a lot.
Okay, good. And so far, your on-base percentage is way up from last year, and your strikeout-to-walk ratio is greatly improved. Is plate discipline something you really look to work on this year, or do you think that's just kind of been the natural maturation of you as a hitter?
I think I'm trying to get back to it. My first year in pro ball, I think I walked almost the same amount as I struck out, and that's always kind of been me. But over the last couple of years, I think I've tried to do a little too much, try to be a little bit too aggressive. Last year, it's hard for me to say that I was disappointed in it, because why walk when I was actually hitting the ball so well?
Right.
And that's the thing that kind of happens sometimes, is that you might not be walking, but if you're hitting doubles, hitting singles, driving in runners, you kind of take that instead.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Us stat geeks, we look at all these numbers and we overanalyze them too much sometimes. You've been promoted kind of on a year-to-year basis, level to level. Has that allowed you to see some similar pitchers kind of come up to level to level? I know there's some different affiliates, but are there some pitchers that you've got in the face that have given you a particularly hard time, or guys that we can keep an eye out for that you think will be in the big league someday?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you look at any one of these teams, this is just a fabulous league. The Eastern League is one of the most competitive leagues, and it starts with out of the bullpens and out of the starting rotations. I've played against a lot of these teams for a number of years, and I would say one in particular is playing against Cleveland. I played against them at every level, and I know the guys. I played with them in the Arizona Fall League this past year, had their pitching coach as our pitching coach in the Fall League, so they know me quite well. But then again, I know them as well. So it's just about making adjustments. They're going to make adjustments knowing what I can do, what I can't do as well, and it's the same with them.
Okay, so that seems like it would prepare you well in the big leagues. Obviously, you can face guys year after year and mean, that's what they say, I guess, a lot about great baseball players. They make those adjustments from year to year. So I guess, in your opinion, is it hard for you as a minor leaguer to maintain your focus on team play when in a lot of ways you're rewarded and promoted based on your individual accomplishments, or how does that kind of play out for you?
It's kind of a tough situation because obviously each one of us is trying to get to the big leagues, and that's very an individual thing. But then again, you look at teams in the minor leagues that promote players and they're winning teams.
Right.
One of the things that I'm sure that the big club looks at is how somebody is a winner. You know, they want winners on their teams, not just guys who play for teams that don't win but hit 40 home runs. I mean, obviously it's great, but to be able to do the little things as well that help teams win, that's what they're looking for. Because if I get to the big leagues, I'm not going to be a 3-4 hitter right away. Right. I'm going to be a 6, 7, 8, 9. Who knows? You know, so you got to be able to do the smaller things and work yourself into the middle of the lineup.
Okay, well, that's good to hear your perspective on that. And that, you know, the organization's paying attention to those things, because it seemed to me that kind of to pull it might be tough for a lot of minor leaguers.